Overthinking every decision. You need to pick what to eat for lunch. Your brain starts running calculations. What if I pick this and regret it? What if the other option was better? What if I make the wrong choice? A simple decision takes you 20 minutes. Everyone else decides in seconds. You're still thinking. This isn't just anxiety. It's your brain processing more information than most people even see. Intelligent brains consider more variables, more outcomes, more possibilities. They don't just see option A or option B. They see the consequences of each choice, the ripple effects, the long-term impact. Research shows that people with higher IQs spend more time on decisions, not because they're slower, because they're seeing more of the picture. Your overthinking is your intelligence trying to optimize every choice. Most people make fast decisions because they don't see the complexity you see. You're not broken for taking longer. You're just processing more data. Replaying conversations. You had a conversation 3 hours ago. Now you're lying in bed replaying it. What did they mean by that? Why did they say it that way? Should I have said something different? Did I sound stupid? You analyze every word, every tone, every pause. This feels like torture, like your brain won't let you rest. But conversation replay is actually advanced pattern recognition. Your brain is extracting information most people miss. When you replay conversations, you're noticing things that happen too fast to process in real time. The slight hesitation before they answered, the way their tone changed, the thing they didn't say. Intelligent people have better memory for social details. They pick up on subtleties, but processing all that information takes time, so your brain does it later, when you have space to think. The replay isn't anxiety making you paranoid. It's your intelligence doing a deeper analysis of social data, catastrophic thinking. You're walking down the street. Your brain suddenly shows you a disaster movie. What if that car swerves? What if someone jumps out? What if the building collapses? You see worst-case scenarios constantly. People tell you to stop being so negative, to stop imagining bad things, but you can't control it. The scenarios just appear. This is called catastrophic thinking, and it's directly linked to intelligence. Smart brains are prediction machines. They're constantly running simulations, trying to anticipate threats. Back in human history, the people who imagined danger survived longer. They prepared for threats others didn't see coming, so that trait got passed down. Your catastrophic thinking isn't mental illness. It's threat detection on overdrive. Your brain inherited a survival tool that was useful when danger was everywhere. Now it runs the same program in a safer world. The anxiety feels bad, but the mechanism behind it is intelligence preparing for problems before they happen. Hyper-awareness of surroundings. You walk into a room and notice everything. Who's sitting where? The exits, the noise level, the mood, the temperature. Other people walk in and don't notice any of it. You can't help but notice all of it. This constant awareness is exhausting. You can't just relax. Your brain won't let you stop scanning. But hyper-awareness is heightened sensory processing. Intelligent brains take in more information from the environment. They process more sensory data per second. This was an advantage in dangerous situations. Noticing small changes could mean survival. Seeing a shifted object, hearing an unusual sound, sensing when something was off. Your ancestors who had this trait survived, passed it down. Now you have a brain that notices everything whether you want to or not. In modern life, this feels like anxiety. You're on high alert with no real threat. But the mechanism is intelligence. Your brain processing more of reality than most people can handle. Reading people instantly. Someone walks into the room. Within seconds, you know they're upset. You can feel it. Even though they're smiling, even though they said they're fine, you just know. You pick up on tiny signals, micro expressions, body language, energy shifts. This makes you uncomfortable because you see things people try to hide. But instant people reading is emotional intelligence in action. Smart brains are better at pattern recognition. They've cataloged thousands of emotional signals, facial expressions, vocal tones, physical postures. When you see someone, your brain instantly matches what you're seeing to patterns you've stored. This happens so fast, it feels like intuition. But it's actually rapid data processing. You're not psychic. You're noticing details and running them through your brain's emotional database. The anxiety comes from seeing emotions people don't want you to see, from knowing things you're not supposed to know. Your brain is too good at reading people, and that can feel like a curse. Vivid imagination of scenarios. You're about to do something. Before you do it, your brain shows you 10 different ways it could go. You see yourself succeeding, failing, looking stupid, getting praised. Each scenario plays out like a movie, complete with dialogue, emotions, consequences. This vivid imagination can be overwhelming. It makes simple tasks feel huge. But scenario simulation is what intelligent brains do. They model outcomes before committing to action. This is called mental time travel. Your brain jumps forward in time, tests different futures, evaluates which path is best. Research shows people with higher intelligence have more active imagination systems. They can visualize more clearly, run more complex simulations, hold multiple scenarios in mind at once. When you imagine all the ways something could go wrong, you're not being pessimistic. You're being thorough. Your brain is testing outcomes so you can pick the best path. The anxiety comes from seeing too many possibilities. But the ability itself is intelligence doing what it's designed to do. Can't turn your brain off. It's late at night. You're exhausted, but your brain won't stop. Thoughts keep coming. Ideas, worries, questions, memories, plans. You can't make it quiet. You can't make it slow down. Sleep feels impossible because your mind won't rest. This feels like insomnia. Like something's wrong with you. But a brain that won't turn off is a brain with high activity levels. Intelligence requires neural activity, more thoughts, more connections, more processing. Smart brains don't idle well. They're built to run, constantly making associations, solving problems, analyzing information. Research shows people with higher IQs have more active default mode networks. That's the part of your brain that runs when you're not focused on anything specific. Most people's brains quiet down when they're not busy. Yours doesn't. It keeps running background processes, making connections, working on problems you didn't consciously give it. This feels like anxiety because you can't control it. But it's actually intelligence continuing to work when you want to rest. Questioning everything. Someone tells you a fact. You don't just accept it. You ask how they know. Where did they hear it? Is there proof? People get annoyed. They think you're being difficult, argumentative. You're just questioning, trying to understand, making sure it's actually true, but you can't help it. Your brain automatically questions. This constant questioning is critical thinking in action. Intelligent people don't accept information blindly. They evaluate it. They look for evidence. They check for logic. They think about whether it makes sense. This is what separates smart people from people who just believe everything. Studies show that higher intelligence correlates with skepticism. Smart people question more, accept less, verify before believing. Your questioning isn't anxiety making you difficult. It's intelligence refusing to fill your brain with unverified information. The anxiety comes from realizing most people believe things without proof, and you can't do that. Your brain demands evidence, and that makes social situations harder, noticing details others miss. You watch a movie with friends. You notice continuity errors, plot holes, things that don't make sense. Your friends didn't catch any of it. They just enjoyed the movie. You couldn't stop noticing the problems. This happens everywhere. You spot typos others miss. Notice when something's been moved. Catch inconsistencies in stories. It's like your brain has a detail filter everyone else is missing. But noticing small details is pattern recognition sensitivity. Intelligent brains are better at detecting anomalies, things that don't fit the pattern, things that are slightly off. This was useful for survival. Noticing a broken branch meant someone passed by. Noticing moved objects meant danger. Catching small changes kept people alive. Your brain does this automatically. It scans for things that don't belong, don't match, don't fit. In modern life, this creates anxiety because you notice problems everywhere, things that are wrong, off, inconsistent. Everyone else is happily ignorant. You can't unsee what your brain already caught, feeling misunderstood. You try to explain what you're thinking. People look confused. They don't get it. You explain again. Still confused. You feel frustrated, isolated, like you're speaking a different language, like your brain works differently than everyone else's. And you're right. It does. This feeling of being misunderstood is common among intelligent people because they make mental leaps others don't follow. They see connections others miss. They think in ways that aren't linear. So when they try to explain, the explanation doesn't make sense to people who didn't make those same connections. Research shows highly intelligent people often report feeling socially isolated. Not because they don't like people, because they can't find people who think like them. The more intelligent you are, the fewer people exist who process information the same way. This creates real loneliness. You're not anxious because something's wrong with you. You're anxious because you're statistically rare. And rare things don't fit easily into a world designed for average. So which of these made you realize your anxiety might be your brain working at a higher level? Drop it in the comments because understanding this changes everything. And if you want more videos explaining what's really happening inside your head, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one.